on, guys? Good morning. You're watching Everyday Struggle on Complex News. I'm Nadeska here with Star. Good morning. And with DJ Akademiks. Guys, what's going on?
What's up?
Oh,
This guy.
caught you
What up?
on this
You
sucky
have such
shit.
formal hellos now.
Pay your tab.
This guy. Oh, you know what?
Pay your tab.
Remind me for that.
Or else
Thank
I'm
you.
going to show you what these are about. You asked what these were about, yes?
Cut it out, Star.
You want to shoot the fair one after the show? Oh, over the 100?
We good.
The
Over
100?
the 100.
Oh, I forgot about the bet.
No, no.
Star.
Over the 100.
No. You're going to get you 100, actually.
No.
will.
I'm giving you the chance to shoot the fair one 5 minutes, and we'll squash the 100. You,
Oh, we
you
good.
asked me what these were about.
No, we good.
I'm charged.
Good. Yo, Star, you move like you have arthritis. You move too slow, bro.
Do you want to go there or not?
maybe-
So, okay, you guys are
It's
still
yes
arguing
or
about
no.
this Erica
Yeah.
Badu
Yes.
bet. I don't think anyone knows what
Okay.
you're talking
okay.
about.
Okay.
All right, just confusing people right off the top.
Yeah.
So yesterday we talked about the Grammys,
Star, you get
and
washed out here, man. You moving too slow.
Sounds
bro.
hot. Sounds hot.
you were criticizing Ak for not watching the entire show. You felt like that influenced the way he was able to weigh in on the winners. But, you know, apparently he wasn't the only one. So Grammys ratings fell to 19.8 million viewers. So that's a 24% drop from last year, the lowest in 9 years. I don't think this is very surprising. First of all, you can tell us if you watched the entire telecast. Did you actually enjoy it?
Well, I watched it for business reasons, not so much because I was, in stand mode or anything like that. And I was curious to see if we were going to have a healthy discussion, not trying to say, oh, you didn't watch it, so you're out of the loop, because you can watch clips after the show, airs, which was, I'm sure you've done some of that now.
Just wondering if you gained anything from watching the full show. That's the point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
You felt like there were good moments, or?
well, the formula, understanding the formula and what the Grammys used to represent, what it represents now. It used to be a very prestigious system. It's flawed. I think it's even more so flawed now. And I think that the 20% of the less viewership from last year shows that people have gravitated away from it. Do you watch television?
Not that much.
How about you?
I don't have cable.
Neither do I. Do you listen to radio? No?
Not at all.
No. How about you?
Sometimes streaming radio.
Sometimes. Neither do I. It's a totally different shift, a different mindset. And I think that the Grammys is still trying to hang on to what used to be. They still hang on to the old, the radio airplay combined with sales. It's not just sales with the Grammys. It's not the People's Choice Awards. So yes, I watched it for business reasons and to also see how it's fading and dying.
Yeah, these stats weren't that surprising to me, but also with the Grammys, you have to keep in mind, like, they just, like, 2 years ago, started broadcasting rap categories. They used to announce all those awards before the show started. So for somebody like me who really don't give a fuck about who's the best country album, I'm not much to tune into. However, there is, for some people, you could tune in to see if is Kendrick going to win best rap album or best rap song. But prior to a couple years ago, and now hip-hop is the most dominant genre, they weren't even broadcasting on the main broadcast that particular or those particular awards
Right.
for the genre. So.
And Jay-Z just spoke about how he boycotted the Grammys for about 6 years back. I think it was early 2000 or something like that. I forget.
It's a love-hate relationship with the Grammys. I mean, we all look to it because it has a certain prestige, but historically they've got shit wrong, and we've seen entertainers speak out about it or just boycott it, period.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to its death. The death of the Grammys, and something new, because again, it is flawed, but in terms of watching
The
it.
new Source Awards, that's what you're waiting for. Some ghetto.
Is the source still around?
Well, the publication's still around, but the awards, no.
I don't think nobody's fucking with the Source Awards, sorry.
All right, so going into this year's Grammys, people were feeling a lot more confident because of the hip hop and R&B nominees. Coming out of the Grammys, not so much. So Alessia Cara won Best New Artist, and she's facing a lot of backlash. Feel very bad for her. She's addressed it in a long post on her Instagram saying, look, I didn't ask to be submitted, but I was nominated and won. And I'm not going to be upset about something I've wanted since I was a kid, not to mention have worked really hard for. I will not let everything I've worked for be diminished by people taking offense to my accomplishments and feeling the need to tell me how much I suck. So basically, she's getting sick of the backlash, understandably, because this is a big moment for her. Do you guys feel bad, and what are you even supposed to do in this situation?
I feel bad for her. That's a young artist who's trying to spread her craft, her art to people from a very organic standpoint, and people are shitting on her. And I think that, it's the machine of the label, as you pointed out yesterday, pushing the product. She's a commodity, whether you like it or not, whether you think that you're family or not, you're a fucking commodity. And I think that's bullshit that she has to go through. She's probably blocking the shit out of people.
I only had one problem with that whole long ass shit she wrote. It's too long. She should have had 2 words. Fuck you. If you're mad, fuck you. Mm-hmm. That's it. Again, she wouldn't be my pick to win, but I don't think she should be shamed or like meant to feel bad about her victory because people thought other people should win. You won. Again, a lot of people feel other people should win, but you won. You won. We'll all get over it. This is more of a reflection on the Grammys, not really on her. So I understand her dealing with the hate, and we see sometimes, like, for example, like SZA is very beloved. So she's probably getting a lot of like, hey, you shouldn't win.
Yeah.
Nah, I think it's unfair for her, but she's doing too much explaining. She just said, yo, if y'all don't like that I won, fuck you. That's it.
You keep making reference to the term culture, the culture.
I didn't do that today, sir.
Yeah, you will. I'm sure you will. The culture is capitalism. Would you agree?
Not necessarily. And by the way, when I did make reference to culture, you used you said pulse of the nation, right? Because you said the same thing with Jay-Z. His album is just not the pulse of the nation. His album, and then you also talked about impactful. Now, if we're talking about impactful, are we just talking about on a capitalism level, on a commercial level, sales level?
Well, if we're talking about the Grammys, if we're going back to yesterday's conversation where I said she was, in my opinion, made the biggest impact. You know, there's different.
Didn't really explain
hang on. There's different categories of impact that the Grammys, as I already said, is an old system. It looks at trades as opposed to fanzines. It looks at different categories with regards to radio airplay. If you look at radio, which we've already said we don't listen to, radio, the whole PPM, personal people meter system, which came out of the Arbitron system, it's I don't want to say it's fucking corrupt, but it's corrupt in a sense because you have the major corporations that are on the fucking board of that system. So it's a food chain. It's an impact that has to be made so that people can eat, so that they can then report to the Grammys, and then the Grammys can say, "You're the winner."
So are you now sort of not backtracking?
No, not at all.
But changing what you said yesterday.
I'm explaining in detail.
So you're admitting
now
that it's politics and money here.
I've always said that. I've always said that.
But then yesterday you were saying that she had more impact, actual impact, than all of the other artists.
Impact in turn.
Even if they use different metrics, what are the metrics here?
Those are what the Grammy looks to in terms of impact. And again, I'm saying sadly, it's an old system. I'm not saying, oh yeah, the Grammy's a great fucking system. I'm saying I fully understand it. And when I, again, used to work at record labels for close to 8 years before I ever got to radio. We used to have marketing meetings 3 times a week, and I had to learn this shit. And I said, wow, this is really fucking corrupt. I mean, people could literally purchase the cover of trade publications to create the illusion that they were making the biggest impact in certain markets. The BRE, different publications, the Gavin Report.
I don't even know if they could make those arguments.
Maybe your whole argument about impact's going like over my head, but I'm not getting that shit. What you saying?
Well, here's the thing. It's formula driven. Whether you think it's dated or up to speed, whatever. It's a
I guess
formula.
what we're saying is that even if you follow like what's the formula, if you look at the years that like Uzi and SZA and Khalid had albums, big projects, tours, I guess what are these metrics that they're using?
You're being so vague, man.
I'm actually being very direct. If you don't understand it, then just say, I don't understand what you're talking about. Don't say I'm being fucking vague. I just broke it down to you about the Arbitron system, and now it's the PPM. Do you understand what PPM is?
Yeah, but you're breaking
What is it? What is it?
Personal people meter or whatever. That's a system they give people like a little device, and they call you up or they read the device to see what you've been exposed to, what you've been consuming, which you could be consuming all types of different things, radio, airways. But why are you tying that to the Grammys? Like, why are you tying PPM to who wins the Grammys?
Because the Grammys is hanging on to
that's the only metric you've mentioned.
The Grammys is hanging on to an old system to calculate all of this stuff to give somebody an award. It's different from the Billboard Awards. It's different from the People's Choice Awards.
But is it really that system, or is it just people and their biases?
Wait. That's full of bullshit. That's not how Grammy voting even works, where they're just looking at these things. You should know. How does
I
Grammy
do
vote
know.
work?
I just explained it to you.
It's based on PPM.
A combined effort of different things go into the Grammy nominees and the awards. It's combined. It's not. What do you think? It's just sales? Do you think it's just sales?
It's a committee that votes.
Yeah.
It's the Billboard Awards is based off certain metrics that you just can't deny, right? But
Okay.
this is
Well,
also
why are you arguing with something that I laid out and explained in detail? This is how it all comes about. It's flawed. It's not really keeping up to speed or up to times with regards to the internet. People are trying to catch up to how the internet moves. You have YouTube now cracking down. As you and I both already know, you get notifications if you play somebody's music. You can't put it on up on Instagram. It's a system, man. It's a system.
Okay. A little.
You can do all of it. You can act it's something so far fucking fetched, but that's what it is.
Yeah, I feel like we're not going to make any further progress on this topic, so we can move on to ASAP Ferg. He just did an interview with GQ. He shared his thought on the rap game. He says, I feel like a lot of artists are making the same music. I feel like we haven't pushed hip hop sonically. All you hear on the radio right now is trap music. It's starting to sound like one big reggaeton song to me. And then he adds, but this is why I love the new kids like XXXTentacion. He seemed to be a fan of his album. All right, so Star, do you agree with ASAP Ferg's comment? Does everything sound the same? And if it does, is this just a phase? Music does move in cycles.
Well, he's talking about trap music in particular. You could educate me better on ASAP Ferg and trap music. I thought that was out of the South. How did he become the spokesman for it? But I would agree with his comments that, based upon, formulas and what record companies are looking to push, yes, it is at a point where it's starting to sound the same, to mesh, to blend. And he said he's looking towards the younger artists. So am I. Call it trolling, whatever you want to call it. There's a point where it gets redundant. He said reggaeton. I didn't even know reggaeton was still around.
And I mean, big artists now like Bad Bunny, they're calling it Latin trap music / reggaeton. The genres are always a little bit confusing here, but I guess we do understand the point that he's trying to make. Ike, what do you think?
He makes a great point, but he's also guilty of it.
Uh-oh.
Because if you listen to his album is kind of using those 808s. By the way, trap music nowadays, trap music used to be about people rapping about trapping. Right? And it was over 808 beats. Now we call anything trap music as long as the 808s are there. It doesn't matter if you're singing about popping Zans and sipping lean. So we'll call it trap music. Okay. However, 808s have dominated everything. Even New York artists are jumping on beats that have heavy 808s. So it's beginning to sound alike in terms of production. There's only so much you could do with 808s and sound different. And I guess that's why he brings up reggaeton, because reggaeton, there's that one underlying beat that you hear in almost every song. Yeah. And now they're moving on to trap. So they're grabbing the 808s saying, okay, we could get a pattern here too. He's right, but he's also guilty of it. It's just crazy to see. It's like the pot calling the kettle black. He did praise XXXTentacion, one of the newer artists who are pushing the boundaries.
And says he wants to make more rock music and stuff
like
that.
Yeah, and kind of blending genres almost, but sounding different. So he's definitely progressive, but as long as he admits that he is perpetuating the same thing.
I'm asking you to educate me, ASAP Ferg, from Harlem, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So how does he become this authority on trap music? Again, I don't know the full history of the ASAP mob, but how did he become this authority to make these statements and to speak on behalf of trap music becoming redundant?
Well, again, as I said, trap music isn't about trapping anymore. So it's just the beat.
It's just broad.
Yeah, it's just the beat.
Okay.
And his hits have been trap beats. I mean,
I've heard some of them, but I was wondering what the connection was.
Yeah, I think he just uses that word to just sum up the whole sound. Yeah. But I think he's right. He's right on that. But,
no
but
argument.
Is he the authority? Who would be? I think that's where we got to look at it. Who would be the authority?
T.I. maybe?
T.I. You're right. T.I. could be the authority on it.
Inventor.
But
T.I. makes the claim, I started trap music.
That's all he tries to claim now. He doesn't say, hey, you guys are steering it too much one way or the other.
No argument there for me.
Okay. All right, so this next one I feel like you're also going to agree on. 50 Cent made some comments. This sounds like you. So one, he's a fan of Lil Pump. So Complex asked him what he thought on Lil Pump and just, current state of music. And if you remember a few months ago when 444 came out, he thought it was too boring and it's not for the kids. So this is the same sentiment. He's like, people say things like, this is my most personal album. Well, then keep it in your iPod, keep it in your cell phone for yourself. Make music that everyone's going to appreciate. He also said he did listen to Eminem's album. He liked some of the choices, but on the Beyonce track, he wished they'd added some drums. You think 50 Cent still has an iPod? That was my biggest question coming out of here. Keep it on your iPhone, keep it on keep it on your cell phone and your iPod. I'm picturing him with the little scroll.
No, because I don't want to keep trying to hammer a point home, but 50 Cent, trolling, yes? All day, every day.
I don't know if this is necessarily trolling. That's what he believes.
Well, he's making the comments about Lil Pump, says he likes Lil Pump and others, I guess, of that ilk.
Right.
Yeah, I don't even want to go back into what he said about Jay-Z. I think we are all past it. But 50's a troll, yes? We can agree on that.
Yeah, 50 is a troll.
He's a troll. Anything wrong with him trolling with regards to Lil Pump and others?
No, I don't think he's trolling with that. I think he really does like Lil Pump. However, there's always...
Really?
Yeah, I think he does. I mean, keep in mind, 50 was the same person who, when Soulja Boy came out, and a lot of people looked at Soulja Boy... I was just about to say, 50 likes anybody who's young and popping. So you wouldn't say he's trolling? You think he really, really likes Lil Pump? Yeah, again... He showed it with Soulja Boy, Chief Keef, Lil Pump. I think he likes young, different, and rebellious. And
oh no, 50.
And I think it goes with him trying to co-sign all that. But I do believe 50 is about 40 something now. I think when he says it's a shit on Jay.
I think he's 46 to be exact.
Yeah,
go ahead.
He says it's a shit on Jay-Z. We know who he don't fuck with. By the way, in the same sentence or the same conversation, he bigged up Emma a little bit. He just said that one song a little bit more drunk.
Yeah.
He doesn't like Diddy, he doesn't like Jay, and if he has a chance to take a underhanded jab at them, he's gonna do it. But too personal, and I know you have your thoughts on it. I would think 50 as an artist, as he ages, would want to expand the music taste for adults, not only cater to kids, because when you're 45, 46...
Maybe he can't.
Okay.
He's tried and it just doesn't work well.
He's tried, maybe he can't. Maybe he's player-hating on Jay-Z. I mean, I'm not dismissing 444. I've said what I said. I don't want to keep hounding on that, but I just find 50 to be just a little too interested in a Lil Pump now. And I think of him and
maybe
Soulja Boy in what was that, double XL on the cover with the mask and his arm around?
A little scarf or whatever.
That was some real weirdo shit.
Perhaps 50 Cent want to sign Lil Pump. Lil Pump right now is getting wined and dined by everyone who's an executive. Gucci shows some interest. Khaled wants to sign him. Maybe 50 wants to
50 gets him first.
Get him on G Unit, okay?
Lil Pump said he's not doing nothing for less than 15 million. Is that what he said?
12 to 15 mil.
Well, he upped the price. He said now it's 15.
The hater misses nothing.
To me, that's just posturing, which I'm glad that he's trying to get.
I think he's serious, Lil Pump, about that amount.
15 million?
But we think there's no way it's going to happen, that he would get a deal that big?
You think he could validate on business-wise?
Business-wise.
How do you think 15 mil?
I think that deal can be structured for that amount of money. In today's marketplace, that type of deal can be structured. It would have all sorts of stipulations, or if you reach X amount of sales, if you give up some of the tour money, some of the publishing, that money would be there.
I only look at it in terms of the marketplace. Acts that are in comparable in relevance or buzz, whatever you want to call it, they're getting like 6, 7. X got 6. So to me, they're almost comparable in terms of hotness. Yeah. So if
did he take that deal? He walked away from it. It was Capitol, right?
Yeah, he took it.
He took it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
sellout.
I don't know if you would call it a sellout, but
it's a sellout.
However, if Pump gets 15 million, this would be the greatest finesse ever. I mean, you get out of your label, you get out of your deal with Warner, where they were paying you reportedly only $345,000 as an advance, and now you get a $50 million deal, you won.
Okay.
So you see another big year for him, 2018?
Lil Pump should have a good year this year.
Okay.
I can tell you, because I have spoke to some people within those circles, I think everyone's concerned, and I think it should be obvious to the public too. Will Pump be here beyond 3 years? If you're going to give someone $15 million, you got to be playing the long game with them, because you don't.
That's what it would be. It would be a long game. It wouldn't be here's $10 million. It wouldn't be that.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Do you see Lil Pump lasting for 5 years? Remember when Soulja Boy came out? Soulja Boy, he was very meteoric, but did he have that long-lasting impact as it was for the first couple
I
years?
already said last week I thought Lil Pump shot his load. So no, I don't see that deal, or him lasting. I think that, he's given us his best work. Can you give us an update on Warner Brothers? Any news with regards to his contract and all that sort of jazz? The quarter-proof contract?
Well, they're filing motions to try to get at least him not. They don't want him to be in a position where he can sign to someone else.
You said that last week, but there's nothing new since then?
Yeah, well, they're also waiting on him, and they're doing court stuff. Court stuff takes a while. But they're definitely going to try to retain him. We'll see.
So they filed a motion or an injunction. There is a difference.
Well, I don't know the exact specifics, but I know it's in the courts.
Okay. Can you get it and get back to us?
I will.
Thank you.
As soon as
Hit
I
up
find out,
TMZ.
trust me, there'll be a report.
TMZ, I feel like they always have all the details. All right, so one of the projects I'm looking forward to the most this year is Shrum Life 3. I don't know if you're a big Rae Sremmurd fan, Star. I think they're amazing. We've been waiting for this for a while, and now Sway Lee is telling us that it's going to be a triple disc. So one side is Slim Jimmy, one side is his project, and then the joint project. We were waiting. We thought these solo albums were going to come ahead of it, but it's not. Is this just a move to cheat streaming? Does a triple album seem a little excessive?
There's nothing wrong with it.
Okay, why do you say that?
You have to find ways to trip up the system or the algorithm per se. We all do it. Mm-hmm. Everybody is part of the mainstream. There's nothing wrong with it. You have to do what you can to get the traffic, the notoriety, and the fan base secured.
Is it a more artistic move or a business move? Business.
In my opinion, business.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a business move. I don't think artistically this is probably the best move though. People tune into Rae Sremmurd for Rae Sremmurd. Mm-hmm. If I just want to hear Sway Lee, I'll go listen to him in French Montana on Unforgettable. I think this is a safe way of them, just like how we've already projected that the Migos will drop solo projects. Mm-hmm. These two, or at least Sway Lee said he was going to do it before. I think this is a safe way of putting it out. You package it with your group album, which everyone is used to the group, and you see if people kind of resonate or feel either one. Honestly, I'm not that interested in that packaging. When I'm hearing Rae Sremmurd, I want Rae Sremmurd. So, and also I don't know what a Slim Jimmy album is going to sound like. I'm pretty sure it'll be fire, but I don't want it packaged. After listening to the Migos album, 24 tracks, I don't want to listen to 49 tracks. I don't want to listen to 49 tracks. There's something called listener fatigue.
Are you a Rae Sremmurd fan?
Absolutely, but I like when they're together. Or I like.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to this. Now, You've never purchased a Migos ticket to see them perform, right?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever purchased a ticket to see Rae Sremmurd perform?
I don't go to much concerts, and I'm not gonna. You know what? That's a great point you just brought up.
Well, I'm not trying to play you.
No.
I'm asking what makes you a quote-unquote fan. Fans go to the shows.
Not all fans. Like, these days...
If you're a fan, you go to the show.
You want me to tell you something? I want to see Lil Uzi like a month or two ago. And he then performed a month later on Tidal. Well, he performed in Philly, but it was shown on Tidal.
Okay.
I enjoyed watching his performance. It sounded great. It looked great.
Right.
Many camera angles. I enjoyed watching it more on Tidal than being there.
Have you ever seen Lil Uzi Vert perform live?
Yeah, I said I went to see him.
Oh, I'm
live.
sorry. I must have missed
Give me a
that.
shout out on stage.
I missed
My
that.
man Uzi. But that's what I'm saying. So I do like the live performances, but I watch most of these niggas perform online.
Mm-hmm.
So are you saying like how he feels about Rae Sremmurd in relation to this topic, or?
I'm just trying to, figure you out in terms of, the
And
whole
actually,
fan
no,
comment.
actually, hold on. Actually, I have seen them perform. I forgot when I went to see The Weeknd, they were opening up. They were.
That was your one
Do you
big
remember
concert.
That is true.
It's the one concert he went to last year. He saw everybody, and that was it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though I claim to be no one's fan, I've been to maybe 250 concerts in my lifetime.
Have you seen any hip hop shows, like any of
Yeah.
the big runs last year? There were
Not
a lot
last
of good
year, no,
tours.
no,
We didn't
no,
get to catch
no,
a lot of them.
No, not last year. But I'm looking forward to seeing the Migos. You coming with me?
Depending on what venue. Depending on what venue. Might roll up in
I want to
there.
go see the Migos and turn it up on some yak and enjoying the evening.
Well,
whatever.
We'll see. It's hard to get Ak out of the house, but we'll see if we can. But just back to Rae Sremmurd, then, are you? So you're not thrilled about the way it's packaged, but do you have any expectations for the solo project, especially for Sway Lee? We know he's responsible for some good songwriting, some big hits.
I have expectations for both of them in terms of their solo projects. I just think it's much different than a Rae Sremmurd project. So just packaging it all together, that's why I don't really like the packaging. But they should do solo projects. I think we've seen it with the Migos, and the Migos now is the biggest rap group currently. Currently. They have used each member to expand the brand, whether it's Quavo going out and him giving hits to other people, just like Sway Lee has done. And then even saying, hey, I know I'm in a group, but I'm going to go do a tape with Travis Scott. And then you could see where Offset, he is taking his brand where he's just not someone in the background. He's almost like 1 and 1A with Quavo.
Right.
And you could tell that Takeoff, he's now being pushed, or maybe he's going that direction naturally. Him and Yachty's about to do some stuff. So that makes the group bigger than life. There's not one Beyonce, and even if you want to say Quavo's a Beyonce, fine. But there's not a bunch of Beyonce Michelles.
Right.
So,
So you have no problem with what they're doing with the whole project and the packaging, as Nadeska just said?
No, I don't have a problem with the solo efforts. I don't like that they're packaging it with the group album, though, because I think it's too much. I don't want to listen to 50 songs.
a lot. Well,
right? So you're going to have 15, you have 15, and the group album has 20. To me, a little bit too much.
If I can go back, way back into time, the rock band Kiss pioneered this whole putting out all these solo projects out at one time. That's what they did, once many, many moons ago. And I think this is just now an updated version, very calculated, very strategic.
How do you think it'll play out?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you think groups
don't
like
know.
this, these current rap groups, so like Migos and Rae Sremmurd, do you think they're gonna, so we predict, people say the Migos might be here in 5 to 10 years, but all of that inside their music, do you think these groups are really gonna last, or is everyone eventually just wanting to go solo? Is the group just a machine for now?
History says no, but I have no problem with, somebody sticking around, lasting the test of time. We have some good rappers who have put out 5, 10 albums, and they still put out stuff once in a while, and they seem to be accepted. LL Cool J and a host of others, Even though I don't want to see anybody over 40 years of age on stage, me personally, I think I don't think it's a bad thing, and it can happen.
In terms of groups lasting, or if it's just an engine to go solo, at least as long as you keep up with the front guy, you're good. If one guy outgrows the rest, that guy's dipping. Like if I'm the star and you're just my shadow, I'm out. It's only so long and I'm out. But if you're keeping up as well, we're mutually benefiting each other, so we should stay together.
Okay. All right, so last topic for today, Drake having a huge streaming numbers. We talked about God's Plan and Diplomatic Immunity. Both are doing great, especially God's Plan breaking records. How does this set Drake up for the year, Ak?
Chop, she just had to get that comment in there, right?
Which one?
Somebody said, Act the only nigga who still loves Drake after dissing him. Hey, whatever. God's Plan, I don't know if Drake anticipated that being this successful. I think once people start reacting to it, and that's why I said the power of a snippet. Previewing music while certain artists as big as Drake, Beyonce, even Jay-Z, they're not putting out like, hey, here's a 30-second clip. How do you feel about it? But in Drake's case, it definitely worked. It got people hyped for it. I believe that people were rushing to get it when it came out. And if I'm listening to Trippie Redd's DJ, because Trippie Redd was rumored to be on the track, he said Drake kind of rushed to put it out because he was getting good reception from it. So this track is highly successful. The doubts that people may have had from last year, Drake not dominating, and he had a whole 7-year run of being on the charts every single week, and he wasn't there for a while. Clearly, he took a step back, and that was probably purposely, not just he fell off. But if I'm to see what God's Plan did in Diplomatic Immunity, he has a big year ahead of himself, and I don't know, the Drake legacy continues.
You're thoroughly invested in Drake.
I'm a fan of Drake. His music. Yeah.
So I guess all fandom aside, right? He is one of the biggest in the game. So
I like his.
Did you like Views? Did you
music.
like More Life? Fans have been.
Yeah. I mean, I as I've already said last week, I think he's a phenomenal writer. I can't make the projection right now what he's going to do in 2018. I can't look that far down the road.
This year.
It's only January.
Yeah.
So what he's going to do throughout the year, I have no idea. But I don't think he's running out of steam. Last year, or on the first season, you said he was running out of steam. Did you not? Drake.
I didn't necessarily say he was running out of steam. I said he was getting to a point where the next album is going to be telling. Because this is either the point where we say, hey, the best is behind him, or he's going to keep that level up. Keep in mind, he's on an unprecedented run.
So God's plan would be a good...
that's phenomenal. He's never done this before.
A good signal to say he's still got it.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course.
Okay.
He's never done this before. And if anything, it's telling us we're in for a hell of a 2018 because he's probably seen Kendrick clean up at the Grammys, and I could imagine he just wants to dominate.
All right. I'll guess. I have no fucking idea that it's going to be a big year for Drake in 2018. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
honestly don't know.
I think that's safe.
Yeah.
I think that's safe to
He's
say.
definitely off to a great start, man. He's back. Let's just see how soon we get another project. All right, guys, that's our show for today. Thank you for watching. We'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. on Complex News YouTube.